Robin Waksberg. Robin.
So I was living in New York City for the past 4.5 years up until recently, working 8.5 days a week so that I could afford ramen, rent, and the occasional cover to a house party. And recently I moved back to my hometown to take care of my sister's kids as a live-in nanny during the week. So what used to be an escape for me, family vacations during the holidays, going home to the quiet and the country walks, is now kind of close quarters. So I was really excited at the opportunity this year to go away for Thanksgiving, and I ended up going to my boyfriend's house in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. And when I met Luke originally, I knew that there was a big difference between growing up in western Pennsylvania and eastern Pennsylvania. And the first tell was that he had sort of this like sling blade, backwoods, kind of aloof accent. And he's a really intelligent guy, but you can tell that when he's involved in intellectual discourse that like his mind is telling him, just slow down, buddy. We'll get there soon. And when we first met, he was telling me stories about his hometown, and he would always say things like, you know, in Waynesburg, you had to wrestle to get whatever you wanted or needed. In Waynesburg, the only Jew in town had his bar mitzvah at a truck stop because it was the nicest venue in town. And in Waynesburg, you know, if you were eating steak, you would have it with a side of venison and prime rib and then some chicken. And so I didn't know like what truth there was to this, but I was really, really excited to be having Thanksgiving with the Flintstones and Bedrock. So I was like, please, let's go. And I drove us the 5 hours across state lines, and when we got done with the highway, the road went from gravelly to grainy to something like shredded wheat. And we finally made it to Waynesburg, and it was this lovely, very hilly town, and at the center of it was a coal mine that was kind of like a piazza, except it was a big hole in the ground. And he was able to point out in every single house and business in the neighborhood, he was able to say who lived there, what they did, who owned the place, and what their kids were up to. And I thought that was amazing because I can't even do that in my tiny little town. We made it to his house. It was very similar to what a kindergartner would draw if you asked them to draw a house. It was just a cube, 2 square windows, a door, and then a triangle roof. And in the door I could see like the silhouette of his mother standing, waiting really eagerly, like somebody for Publishers Clearinghouse check. We made it to the door. She opened it up, gave us all big hugs, and immediately thrust us into the living room where she showed us hundreds of pictures of his youngest sister. They were her senior photos, which are very different. Like, the senior photos that I took in Eastern PA were just a picture on a blue background with like a rose. And in hers, she had poses in costumes from like Gone with the Wind. She was, you know, some of them looked like pop stars, and in some of them it looked like a pharmaceutical advertisement, but there were tons of them. Her mother was all teary-eyed. And you could tell that like she was so excited that her little daughter was becoming a woman. And at one point she turned to Luke and said, you know, Caitlin went on a date with a boy, and it was this really big deal, and I couldn't remember anybody in my family being that excited about anything. So we drove a long time, we went to sleep, it was a late night, got up early the next morning, went down, you could smell home-baked like cookies and muffins and something called breakfast casserole, which was basically anything you could order for brunch stacked on top, sandwiched in this big bin. And like while I'm eating, Luke's dad brings him into the other room, and they're strategizing something. Luke comes out, he's like, it's a Davin family tradition that all the guys go out to shoot skeet, and normally no girls are allowed, but if you want to come, you... And before you could say Ken, I was like, I want to come! So we all get in the car with his dad, who's a man of very few words, and the only conversation I remember there being exchanged was his dad saying to him, so how do you like your Obama now? And because there was tons of ammo and guns in the car, and we were going to be shooting all day. And to speed this up, we went shooting in this random field with all these men and boys from 9-year-old to 50, and they gave me a gun, knowing full well that I didn't know how to shoot it. They gave me the biggest one that they had lying on the mattress where all the guns were, and I shot it, and I still have a bruise on my arm from the kickback, and it was an awesome day. And then later on, we went to his Aunt Peggy's house. And everybody congregated, like his father's 12 brothers and sisters were there, and all the cousins, his Grammy, and all the religious figures in town. And we sat around and ate Thanksgiving like velociraptors because there was no room at the table, and I didn't even have enough to eat, which was awesome because when my 4 family members cook, we make way too much and it's depressing and wasteful. So finally, like when everybody leaves from the meal, it's just me and Luke and his Aunt Polly and his Uncle Carl, who he gave pot from New York, and he was really excited about that. And she ended up throwing all these like illegal fireworks into a bonfire she made outside, and was so excited that she celebrated us by nearly blowing up her house. And I just turned to him and kissed him and thanked him for